Whew, man. What's going on, y'all? It's G. Lewis, OG Lewis. Sitting here, I was watching the news on what's happening over in Gaza and all the bombing that's happening in the West Bank, where apparently I don't know if there's Hamas there or not. I don't have the intelligence committee to be able to give me that information, but it's a lot of death happening right now. And I saw the president is trying to approve a stimulus package, or I call it a stimulus package, for Israel and for Ukraine of $100 billion. Here's something I find very interesting. We want to make sure that we support the Israelis and their army. We want to make sure we support the Ukrainians and their army by giving them funding. Yet right here in the United States of America, there are soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines that are sleeping on the street, put their lives on the line for this place. How is it that you can put your life on the line for this country and be homeless in it? That makes absolutely zero sense to me. And then I started to think about, well, why? Why? How is this possible? And what I've realized is we've created a government structure where the people involved that are making the decisions don't have to feel the gravity or the weight of their choices. So as Americans, we expect accountability from our government. But we can't get accountability because we don't have a system that fosters accountability. We have a system where you can stay in government for 95 years. You don't have to ever come back down and live with the rest of us. And because you don't, you make choices, it don't matter. I mean, think about it. I mean, this is just being real. Somebody gives you $1 trillion worth of credit. And you say, hey, I'm going to take $100 billion and I'm going to give it to my boy up the street because he's about to go to war with his neighbor. It's not my money. This is how government treats spending. It's not my money. So who cares? Right? Who cares? It's not my money. But it's our money. And we don't get a say on how it gets spent. We do get a say on the people who decide how it gets spent. But once again, we fostered a system that doesn't work. Government is the only job in the U.S. where you can lie from top to bottom on your application and still be employed. There's no other job you can get in the United States of America where you could lie from top to bottom on your application and still get a job. George Santos, the only truth that he has found that he likes is that his name is George Santos. Everything else he's told has been a lie, but he still continuously gets a paycheck while people who have put their lives on the line sleep in the streets. That's insane. It is insane. And it's insane. You know what? Somebody told me a long time ago, they defined what politics is. So I'm going to define it for you. Politics is about delaying the answer to a question until that question is no longer relevant. There are people on this planet that are there are only a few left, that's still trying to figure out who killed John F. Kennedy. Well, all the evidence that they locked up from then will be released in like 2031 when we know everybody who gave a damn is dead. And the biggest problem about this isn't that it's happening, that this is the way our government functions. The biggest problem is we contribute to the status quo, which is why the status quo exists. See, our founding fathers back then said, you ain't bringing no tea in here making money on our watch. And they caused anarchy. And that anarchy probably today would have been labeled as terrorism. But they said no taxation without representation. We are being poorly treated, so we refuse to stand for it. Until Americans decide that they refuse to stand for it, they will just keep delaying the question until it's no longer relevant. It's a shame.